What's up, YouTube? Okay, the situation or the tragedy down in Haiti, of course, it's tragic. What can I say? You hear stories about people who are losing their loved ones, and it really hits home when you actually know somebody who has people over there, right? So you see the news, you see CNN, but when you actually know somebody in real life that has somebody down there and they can't get a hold of them and they're not sure what's going on, then it becomes real. It's like, wow, this is actually happening. But in regards to the situation itself, what needs to be understood, okay, is that this will happen to underdeveloped countries where you don't have it like the U.S., where we have these earthquake-proof buildings and we retrofit our buildings and we do this, that, and the third to make sure that we can withstand certain earthquakes. Okay, that costs a lot of money. So in a nutshell, we can prevent certain things from happening. But when you have underdeveloped countries, there's not enough money to prevent anything. So you almost have to cross your fingers, and sometimes luck's going to run out. Okay? What happened in Haiti can happen to any other underdeveloped country, third world type of country, when they have a natural disaster. We saw what the tsunamis do, and we kind of low-key saw what happened with Katrina. Okay? Because the places that got hit, they're damn well, they might as well have been third world countries. Okay? Very poor. Very marginalized. It is what it is. So this is what happens. But the learning, what needs to be learned from here, okay, is that if you're a major nation, you don't have to go in and improve the economy of some underdeveloped country. I'm not saying that. So I'm not saying the U.S. has to come in and improve Haiti and make sure that they're doing well so they can have a booming economy, so they can, take care of their infrastructure. But what you have to do is work with them to have a plan of attack in case something happens. Because whether you like it or not, you have to help out. Okay? Something happens to Haiti, it's a no-brainer that the U.S. really has to help out. So instead of making it worse and probably spending more money than need be because you have no plan, you should develop a plan. So if you're a major country out there and you are close by to third world countries, no one is saying that you have to come in and improve their economy. That's a whole separate can of worms. But what should be done is that there should be some sort of plan of attack in case a natural disaster happens, because there's nothing to protect themselves from getting the full frontal attack of it. If we get hit by a major earthquake, the damage won't be as great because we have protective measures. Okay, but for a lot of these third world countries, something happens and there's really nothing to protect them. Nothing. There is no protection. There is no outer layers of defense. You get everything. You feel I'm sure they felt every shake, rattle, and roll of that earthquake. Okay, here we wake up and we're like, oh, what happened? But of there, it's in your face. So there has to be a plan of attack. Even from what I'm seeing now. What people don't understand is day 4, and I was on my way home from an event. Actually, I saw Kobe Bryant today being Saturday. He had this little conference type internet interview with George Lopez, and I was able to get the hookups. So I went out there, and on the way home we were listening to the radio, and they were talking about how it's day 4, people are running out of water. There's dead bodies everywhere. They're burning trash, and it's really ugly. They're saying that it's worse in day 4 than it was the day it actually happened. It's smelly, dead people everywhere. There's people who are trapped, but there's just not enough people to help. So just imagine your family is trapped, okay? Or your daughter is trapped, and they're trapped, and you can hear them, they can hear you. But because there's really no one else to help, you're just sitting there. Okay, and we're not talking about moving pebbles. We're talking about moving maybe large slabs of concrete or wood or fence or whatever it is. So just imagine how, devastating that is. But just from a infrastructure standpoint, it's off. The person I was driving with, a friend of mine, she is in public health, And she was talking about how they need more public health people down there and not necessarily doctors. You know, that's good to watch the news and they say, oh, there's doctors going out there, but doctors and surgeons can only help one person at a time. So if you send out 200 doctors, that's good. But those 200 doctors can only handle 200 people at a time. They're not built to set up emergency infrastructure. And that's why you need public health people in there. And those are the people that say, hey, the sick people need to go here. These people need to go here. If you have dead bodies, put the dead bodies over here. This is how you properly handle a dead body. You know, there's dead bodies everywhere. There's people who have certain infections that are contagious. And my friend was talking about how if you have somebody who's infected and they're drinking from a commonly used water source, then those other people can be infected. So you have to know how to put people in the right category. You have to know how to space people out. You have to know how to put people in their proper departments so things can flow smoothly. You just can't have dead bodies laying everywhere, right? You just can't have people who are infected just sitting out on the street. So you have to move people around. There has to be some sort of order. And right now, I'm not sure if there's order out there. You can bring food, you can have doctors, but you need people to say, you need to be here, you need to be there. That's the whole point of trying to develop some sort of disaster strategy. You know, if the U.S., now understand, I'm not trying to get on the U.S., you know, all I'm trying to say is the U.S. would probably have saved more money, okay, if they understood that, hey, we're going to have to help these countries anyway. So we can sit here and cross our fingers and hope that, you know, no sort of major disaster happens. And if it does, we'll have to pay a whole bunch of money because we're not prepared. Or we can say, hey, in case something happens, this is what we'll do. We'll have this team go out there, so they'll set up where the sick need to go, the injured need to go. We'll tell the doctors where they need to be. We'll tell the rescue people where they need to go. We'll set up places where people can drink, so the water's not contaminated. So all these things that could have been done before that weren't done, so now you're seeing what's going on. So it's a very bad situation. Like I said before, there's not much you can say. You know, I don't want to turn this into, oh, America's not doing enough or blaming anybody. What I'm trying to say is what we can learn is that these third world countries, okay, nothing is stopping, there's nothing to prevent any sort of natural disaster from happening, period. Okay? But you're going to have to help them when something happens. And you can either spend more money because you were unprepared and you're unorganized, or you can have some sort of organized plan just in case something happens. Just like we practice a fire drill. Because you're going to have to help. But you can do it in a manner that's more organized. You know, how many people want to help out Haiti, and you have a whole bunch of people, you know, trying to do X, Y, and Z. You know, there's not enough planes to get in. So it seems like there's scattered people everywhere. And there's no unified joint effort. You know, there is no unified joint effort. And like I said before, it's not a blame game. This is just more so what we can take from this situation and what we have to understand. So, you know, if you have loved ones out there, you know, I pray for you. I hope everything works well and you're able to get in contact with them. But just from my point of view, almost from an outsider's point of view, you just see so many things that are off. You know, communication is not there. So, and that's vital. People have to communicate. But there's no sort of communication, and there's a whole bunch of problems. Like I said before, those problems aren't going to go anywhere. If you're a large nation living next to a smaller type underdeveloped country, you're going to have to help. The world's going to look at you stupidly if you don't help. So you might as well bite the bullet, do what you need to do to prepare yourself when that day happens, when that earthquake happens, or when that tsunami happens, or whatever. You just have to at this point in time. You really do. So anyways, that's my take on it. You guys take it easy. Tell me how you feel. God bless.